Last year, we had two teams that took us all the way to Canton, and it's only fitting that both came from the ever-elite Midwest Athletic Conference. Today, our countdown to kickoff follows these MAC rivals, Marion Local and Versailles, as they try to run it back at the state finals.
Countdown to kickoff is brought to you by Metzger Financial Services.
It's no secret that Hall of Fame Stadium is familiar territory for Marion Local. Last year's campaign marking a championship three-peat for the Flyers and extending the state record of 14 all-time titles. Now, for year 26, Coach Tim Goodwin's dynasty, Marion Local will stay in D7 for just their 7th season. And out of the 6 prior, 5 of those ended in state championships with a combined scoring margin of 182 to 13. And they're poised to do it again, bringing back 6 all-state seniors, including first-team quarterback Justin Knopf and his top wideout, Victor Holscher. 16 out of the 22 starters returned from last year's 3rd straight undefeated season. The ongoing 48-game win streak ranks 5th all-time in the OHSAA, the current record of 57 held by Delphus St. John's. That means if the Flyers remain perfect through week 9, they'll tie the record and could claim it outright in the regular season finale against Coldwater. But what Goodwin said at last year's state championship press conference made it clear that his passion for coaching has little to do with chasing wins or records or even state titles.
I grew up on a high school sideline, watching my dad coach. He took me to a ton of playoff games, and I looked at those playoff games like, I want to do that. As a coach, that's what I dreamed of doing, and then when I did it, it was empty. So then you have to switch gears. It's about the journey and the grind, and the older I get, it's like, that's what football's about, right? The locker room, the weight room, and just the bus rides. That's what they're going to remember. Trying to be a positive influence, try to, help someone when they need help. Each kid comes from a different background, a little different perspectives, and, where could you step in and build them up? If that's not why you're doing it, what everyone else is saying about the streak or blah, blah, I don't care. I really don't.
It's just a privilege and honor. Keeping the tradition on, just try to keep that winning streak going. Not really our focus, just trying to get better week in and week out.
Just trying to be a team player. Go out there every day, give everyone motivation. Since I'm a senior, that's my job. Just hopefully I have no regrets.
Across the mighty MAC, we head over to Darke County, home of the Versailles Tigers. Coming off a 13-3 campaign where they made it all the way to the D6 state final before eventually falling to Kirtland. Last season, Versailles was anchored by their defense as they held opponents to just over 10 points per game, nearly ending that Marion Local winning streak in the process, holding the Flyers to a season low in points in a 14-13 final. The 2024 campaign marks year 6 under head coach Ryan Jones, who's joined by his father at defensive coordinator, Daryl Jones. The Tigers will return 11 total starters in a group that includes 16 seniors, led by first-team All-State linebacker James Schmidtmeyer. They looked primed for another state title run, but with the added challenge of moving up into Division 5. Checking out the schedule for the Tigers, Week 6 is sure to provide the buzz as they welcome in the kings of the MAC, Marion Local. And despite coming up short this past season to the Flyers, the Tigers believe that even in their defeat, their efforts proves that they have arrived.
With that particular game, how well we played defensively reinforced for not only our staff but also for our kids what we're doing. To hang in there and have an opportunity all the way down to the end of the game to have an opportunity to win that does, and that's what you got to draw on, and you consider guys, we're there.
Just going through those experiences, win or lose, you're going to learn a lot from those, and sometimes, a loss can put a chip on your shoulder, and that can be extra motivation. And we were fortunate enough to be in the MAC where we're playing good teams, quality teams that can beat you on any given Friday. You learn a lot. You learn about what it takes to compete at that high level.
We were 1 point from breaking, their winning record and breaking, how many times they beat us. It hurt that we came up short, but, that just pushes us to do better.
We got some guys coming back this year, and I feel like they can step up and help us lead. And we're gonna show up. We're gonna show up every time.
Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, win! Now, for the last 5 seasons, the MAC has had 2 or even 3 teams represented at the same state finals, and that stretch includes the Coldwater Cavaliers. They made back-to-back trips in 2020 and 21, but since making the move up to Division 5, the Cavs haven't made it out of regionals. This year, however, Coldwater returns to Division 6. They'll avoid the Liberty Center team that snuffed out their last 2 seasons and move back into the region where they were last crowned champions. So, all eyes are set on a return to Canton in 2024. They'll have to do so without the Harlemert twins, who combined for over 1,300 receiving yards and 17 touchdowns last year. But stepping up in their place, 16 hungry seniors. Just the second class of the last decade that still hasn't experienced a state title. In order to change that, they lean on 4 All-State honorees. First-team defenders Cody Depweg and Mason Welsh. On offense, quarterback Balin Blockberger returns alongside his star center, Cale Wenning. It's a long road from Coldwater to Canton, and the Cavs waste no time getting battle-tested, opening the season at home against Valley View, the team they would have played if they'd reached the state semifinal. Then, the daunting MAC slate ends with Marion Local in Week 10. The Flyers have taken 6 of the last 7 meetings and the last 8 MAC titles. So, in year 16, Chip Otton's squad know it's time for the MAC's all-time winningest program to get back into the history books.
We know the expectation here. We know we got to work our butts off every day. Coaches know it. They push us every day. So we just can't go. I mean, obviously 12-2 is a good record, but we know where we can be this year. And that game's kind of our first goal throughout the season, to beat Marion, to win the MAC title, because that's the start to get to state.
We grew up watching state championship teams go back to back to back, and we just want that every single year. So everybody talks about it. They want to go back to Canton, Ohio. I think we're a good senior class, and they follow what people before us did. They'll be in perfect shape.
We got to be a lot more vocal than last year. Last year we got a rough start to the season, and we couldn't run the ball until about game 6. So on the sidelines, we got the iPad, and we're constantly looking at plays all the time, talking to the guys, like what we need to do here, what we need to do there. I got to tell everyone what pass protection we're in and all that stuff.
Maybe one of my all-time favorite senior groups. They're good kids. They get along. They've all went to kindergarten together, I think. With those 16 seniors, we have all the pieces in those 16 guys.